Hey there, my love. So today, in the very recent afterglow of this magical, transformational blue moon, blessings, breakthroughs, and beyond, I felt called today to actually pull a couple of cards, and I haven't done so in quite some time, but because this lunation has just been so powerful and so magical, I was nudged to do so, and I wanted to share it with you. I just pulled a couple of cards. I want to share with you what came through, which feels like a message for whoever finds this video. So if you were drawn to tune in, know and trust that your soul brought you here for a reason, that there is a message somewhere in this transmission that is here for you. As always, please take what resonates and leave the rest. And as I've often said in the past, we never want to give our power away to a piece of paper. And if something deeply resonates, the sign, the real sign is you. The sign is the resonance. The sign is what you are feeling when you either see the paper, the card, or hear the message, hear the song. That is the true sign. And if you are in a place where you're looking for a sign, if you're feeling a little lost, if you're at a crossroads or in transition, if you're in that space of maybe limbo land, which I'll be honest with you, I've kind of felt like I've been in this place of where I know that my old self, I've kind of like let so many parts of my old self die and kissed her goodbye and thanked her and blessed her. And yet, as I have been stepping into my 2.0 or 3.0 or 8.0 version by this point, there's this gap, right? This limbo land, this void of becoming, where we're still trying to maybe find our sea legs, where that new next level version of ourselves, who's already actually within us, still feels a bit unfamiliar and foreign, and yet at the same time feels like a homecoming, feels like you are coming home to yourself. But because perhaps it's been so long on this journey of becoming and unbecoming, that it feels also a little bit foreign, even though you know it is your true self, your authentic self, the unveiling of the woman, the human that you came here to be, the one that your horse is waiting for you to set free. And before I dive into these cards, I want to share actually with you, if I may, would it be okay with you if I shared just this morning, the sacred and magical moments that I had with Indigo, which my heart is still just overflowing with immense gratitude and joy and awe for the magic and medicine that he has brought to my life, and with, for me, some recent, in this full moon portal, which I consider the lunations, the full moons, 3 days before and 3 days after the actual full moon date itself, kind of like that portal or window if you like to work with these energies. And so I've been really feeling it the past few days, and it's fascinating because it was in the sign of Sagittarius, so it's a fire sign, and yet there was a subtleness to it for me, and an emotional depth to it that almost felt watery. And my moon is in Aries, Virgo sun, Pisces rising, and I typically am very lunar sensitive. I don't talk about it a lot, but I definitely am. And I definitely was feeling some stuff coming to the surface, and some like huge shifts that were going on the inside that I couldn't really put into words. And I was doing some work with one of my guides, and huge shift and breakthrough, which I'm still honestly integrating. So I'm not going to go into all those details yet. But what was so magical, what never ceases to amaze me and never gets old, is that equine loving mirror, that sacred reflection that indigo is always giving me. And so this morning I was sitting out on like an upside down water bucket, as I sometimes do, and he was out in the pasture grazing. And it was one of those mornings I just felt more, like sitting and just being in his space and in the pasture, as opposed to we often go for walks. And it all depends on the mood and the weather and the day, but I had some really deep work and transformation the day before, as I mentioned, with one of my guides. And like this morning, the shift, was just, again, palpable. And I was sitting on the bucket, and I was just watching him from afar. He was kind of at the opposite end of the pasture, but he knew I was there. And I just sat there, and automatically, I think partially out of habit and partially because of the shift that I had just had, really dropped into that place and space of, full relaxation and deeper belly breaths. And it was just really, just soaking up the present moment. And he looked over at me, and I know he was tuning in, we're so connected anyway, but he was tuning in to my vibes, and he kept looking at me. And even from across the pasture that far away, he started licking and chewing. And what was really fun and precious and just melted my heart was he kept, and this is over a period of maybe, 30, 40 minutes, but I'll, give you the recap, if you will. Over that period, he kept looking up at me and chewing and licking and chewing, and then he'd, put his head down and graze a little bit and take a couple more steps forward, and it was like he was inching his way towards me. And I did get it was so precious, I couldn't resist pulling out my camera and doing a few little video clips. But as he got closer, I really wanted to be present for him, and I could feel something magical was going to happen. As if what was already happening wasn't magical enough. But anyway, I put the phone away, and he kept coming closer, and then he came over and just rested his head on my head a little bit and started doing like the little nibbly thing, and which to me feel like little horse butterfly kisses. I don't know what you want to call them. And it was just, anyway, I can't put it into words. It was just one of those magical moments that will always be etched in my heart. And anyway, I'm in a really tender place today. I'll be vulnerable and transparent with you if you can't tell already. And like I said, as a result, was called to pull a couple of cards, both for myself and for, again, anyone who's in my collective, if you will, part of my soul herd, whether you're on my email list, whether you're subscribing or following me on YouTube or my podcast. Know if you found your way here again, that there's something for you here too, because we are, I believe, truly all one, and separation is a lie. So with that, I'm going to show you, and it's interesting, I pulled two cards, and this is from Linda Kohanov's Way of the Horse Oracle deck, and the illustrations are by Kim McElroy. And the one that came out first was this one, but this was behind it when I kind of got stuck to it. And what's interesting is it's upside down. So I actually want to talk about this one first, which is card number 33. And I didn't look it up yet, but just from my own, I'm familiar with this deck, although it's been a while, and just my own sense of really tuning into the vibe and the picture and the fire, which is, for me, the alchemy, the transmutation, the phoenix rising. And for me, the fact that it's upside down feels so significant around just having gone through a huge transformation. So if you're tuning into this, perhaps you as well feel like you've just maybe busted out of the cocoon, and you are you're activated your wings and you are starting to rise. Maybe you feel like you've been through it. You've been through the fires of initiation and transmutation, and it finally feels like the dust is settling. The 33, I think, is significant from a numerology standpoint, in that 3 is that sacred trilogy of body, mind, and spirit, right? And that integration of the whole. And I'm just going to turn this around so that you can actually see the original picture. And I normally don't necessarily, if they come out upside down, I don't know, read it that way, but for some reason it felt very fitting that it was that way, again, based on the energies of truly sort of coming out on the other side of the fires of major and massive transmutation and initiation and recalibration on a body, mind, and soul level. And so this alchemy really, for me, is so magical. And when you look, I don't know if you can see it, but when you look a little bit closer, if you maybe you can see it, let me get my pen here. You see the main horse here, but there's one here and one here, 2 other heads, and then I think almost a couple others, I don't know if you see them or not as well, but for me, that really, what's coming through is that you have not been alone, you have never been alone, and that your guides, your soul family, your ancestors, they have been walking by your side all along, like walking and standing in the fire with you. And so that's like really what is coming through for me in the essence of this card. The other piece I'll add, since it was a 33, anytime you have the double numbers with the numerology, it's called a master number. So it's like an amplification of that integration, which for me means that like you really have shifted something huge. Like you just shifted something bigger than you realize. And you should be so proud of yourself. You should really like take a beat and give yourself the space and grace to celebrate how far you've come, like the hell maybe that you've been through, and the heaven that is waiting and here for you now. Like you are closer than you think, and it is like right here, right now, in front of you, as soon as you're ready to receive it, perceive it, and literally step into that chosen timeline. Okay, so that's what came for me there. I wanna just quickly reference the book to see if there's anything else we can add, because like I said, it's been quite some time. And so this one, that card is called Bonfire, and it says sudden shift, clearing and releasing, fuel for transformation. A rearing fire horse demands attention, drawing power from his blazing herd. The gift, whether by choice or circumstance, tremendous energy is available to burn through any blocks to a wider view. And the challenge, it is no small task to stay present during intense outbursts of power, whether human, equine, or divinely inspired. Be ready to face areas of resistance that have grown into a volatile source of fuel for the fire. And again, for me, I really found it very significant, and I don't always, that it came out upside down. So to me, that signals that like the worst is over, basically. And you are coming out, if not already, on the other side. And so that is what I have on that first card. And let me know if this resonates for you. And I'm just going to pause here for a moment because, you know, I will share vulnerably with you that there have been times in the past where I've been nudged to maybe do like these readings more regularly, especially around like say full moon. And there's a part of me that always felt like, oh, it's too woo, and then people won't really, I don't know, respect or value like the other work I do. And yet this is a part of me and part of my magic. So that's maybe part of my shift, that I'm owning this and I'm letting go, worrying about what other people will think and how this might, you know, influence your perception of me. So anyway, the other card, which I really love this one, it's magical. It's number 2, and we'll start there. 2 for me in numerology is all about like the feminine and the masculine coming together. It's about harmony, it's about balance, it's about relationship, cooperation, and collaboration. Okay, so for me, that is the essence of the number. Then this picture, which is so magical, is almost for me like this you could see that you know, that spiraling energy around the crown. and the head area of the horse. For me, that's like this divine activation, transmission, download that is really coming through, and your intuitive gifts and abilities that are maybe opening up at a whole new level, and it's inviting you. For me, the energy of this horse, which is like, I guess, white or gray, so for me, very spiritual. But with the two there, it's kind of like the embodiment of the unseen, the embodiment of the spiritual, again, that integration of spirit and matter, and allowing you to bring your thoughts, your inspirations, your downloads into form, like bringing your dreams down to earth, right? And really that channel being connected and open and activated. So that's what's coming through for me. Let me let's see if there's anything else there. Yeah, that's the main thing that's coming through for me. I'm gonna add what the book has to say. This one is called Belief. And let's see, it says trust in the unknown and the unformed, faith and vision and the authentic self. A lucid gray horse feels the rarefied light of spirit shining through his every move. The gift, call it soul, spirit, or the authentic self, the part of you that accesses fresh ways of seeing and being, is also capable of marshaling incredible resources. The challenge, most creative aspects of consciousness are the hardest to define and pin down. In trying to form a solid, predictable identity, you lose contact with the vital presence of your true self. And wow, that is so, I didn't read this earlier, but that's amazing for me. I just got chills because it kind of was in line with what I was just sharing about in the past, maybe not doing these readings. And yet that is part of my true self, part of my multi-passionate, multifaceted, creative, woo-woo, spiritual, renegade horsewoman. And so, really interesting. That last line, you lose contact with the vital presence of your true self. And what's also really powerful about that for me, and perhaps there's something in there for you as well if you're here, is that before I hit play and I was meditating on what I wanted to say and what I wanted to share and how I wanted to serve and create and express today to be of service, but also this is like a creative, expression for my soul's work and message and mission. Like there was that mental part initially that said, well, I should talk about XYZ and continue with the conversation from the last video because I felt like there was more I wanted to say on that. And yet my soul, if I was really feeling into it, really just wanted to pull a couple of cards and just share an intuitive read with the intention that, again, it will find whoever it's meant to and offer some sort of insight and maybe affirmation or confirmation for you, again, not in a way that, I always want to be careful with this, and I think this is also another reason, for quite some time I hesitated to do these readings, because I went through a period back in the day where I was addicted to listening to the different tarot readers on YouTube, and there's some amazing ones, and I have probably over a dozen decks of my own that I have played with over the years for myself. And there was a period where I was not in my power, where I was constantly seeking that external like validation or answer or confirmation. And I think that's a very dangerous place to be. Because again, we don't want to give our power to things outside of us. And I also think that, they're tools. They can be really powerful, magical, insightful tools if we're using them the right way and being really fully present in terms of, again, our discernment and what resonates, what doesn't, and really allowing ourselves to feel into what's coming through when we're either listening to the message or looking at the cards or reading the description or whatever it is. Or if if you like to listen to other readers or have done that yourself, or maybe you read your own cards, like let me know down below where you're at with all of this. And also, by the way, if you found this reading helpful and if you would like to see more of this type of content. But the part that I just want to highlight again is that we never want to allow a piece of paper and a picture, if it comes out with this reading that is, maybe creating fear or whatever, to like determine, your destiny, to, it's kind of like the way I feel about astrology. And I've said this before as well, too, that, it's kind of, essentially, it's all just energy, right? It's all energetic potential. And if the weather forecast says, I checked the weather on the phone for, whether it's going to rain, and when I make the decision to, like, say, put Indy up and that kind of thing, like at the end of the day, we still get to make our own decision. And like even with that, half the time their predictions aren't even right, and I can like either hear the thunder or look out the window and see the skies turning gray or black, and that to me is more of a signal than, or more accurate often than, the weather prediction on the phone. And yet it's nice to maybe perhaps be forewarned or forearmed with that energetic potential. And so in a sense, again, with the astrology, the same vein, like to me, when I'm looking at perhaps the lunation, right, or the planetary transits, it's simply energetic potential. It is a reflection of the collective psyche and the energetic potential of what could be happening, and some may feel it more than others. And it's not something that is predicting your future, okay? That's, I guess, what I want to be clear on. So anyway, this was just really like a little tune in to the energies at this moment. And again, the intention is that whenever you find it, whether it's, a month from now or 3 months from now or a year from now, that there's something in here for you. This happens to have being recorded a couple days after the Sagittarius blue moon, the third lunation in May 2026. And Sag, of course, is our sacred centaur. So for me, that extra horse medicine in the stars, if you will, that is coming through to guide us. So with that, my love, if something resonated for you, let me know by liking, subscribing if you haven't already. And until next time, ciao for now. Namaste. Love you.